So actually what you just saw, right, is a really powerful set of technologies. And by the way, if you're interested, obviously, at the show floor, as well as there are lots of sessions that TJ and others are doing around Convey, and you can learn more about it, as well as there are customers here who are using Convey who you can share and learn from as well. But Convey isn't the only thing that we've been working on, right? And as many of you know, I believe the majority of the folks in the room are OpenEdge customers, as people who are long-time Progress customers would like to say they're the Progress database customers. And so we have done enormously innovative work with that. And John and his team have been spending tremendous amount of time over the last 2 years building, and they have just recently released what is OpenEdge Release 12. Now, one of the most important things about OpenEdge Release 12 was John and the team made sure that nothing was added to OpenEdge where it was not truly going to help you be successful in your move forward in the world, right? And so we worked with customers, the product management team worked with various different customers and partners and said, let's figure out what you really need. Come with us on this journey and we will build this together. And we've built a phenomenal product. And one of the highlights of what has been done is tremendous amount of performance improvement. And in fact, I want to share with you just a quick little video that tries to illustrate the kind of performance improvement from 11.7, the last release, to 12.0. And what you'll see is two video clips, one on the left and one on the right. The one on the left is running basically as transactions get processed in 11.7, it counts the number of transactions being processed, and based on that, it is running the video at normal speed. And then as transactions are being processed in 12, which is faster, it is basically running the video at a faster speed based on the number of transactions throughput that takes place. So here we go, 11.7 versus 12.0. And if what you notice is that it's actually dramatic. Right? I mean, usually you get a few % increase between one release and another, but here you have the space shuttle on 11.7, basically, still just getting off the launch pad, while the space shuttle that is representing 12.0 in terms of the number of transactions that are going through is already out in the stratosphere. Right? And a 200+% performance improvement, which means more than 3x. The performance is just phenomenal, right? And the development team did a phenomenal job of doing things like improving, latch table contention and improving multi-threading and doing server-side joins with ABL. And so you don't have to change your code. You don't have to change your ABL application. You can go from 11.7 to 12.0 and get this without, in those cases, especially where you have server-side joins and other things, tremendous performance improvements. But again, we continue to invest across our entire product portfolio, by the way. And one of the interesting things is we're a public company, so our financial information is publicly known. We invest more than 20% of our revenue every year in R&D, which is one of the highest percentages across the enterprise software industry that you can find. Right? And we do that because for us, it is about serving you and making sure that our products stay moving forward. I mentioned Data Direct, which is the leading technology when it comes to connecting to data. By the way, any company that you can imagine, a tech company you can imagine, OEMs this today. All the logos there, they use Data Direct to connect to data. In fact, the most fascinating one is Oracle. Right? Oracle apps use the Data Direct connector to connect to Oracle databases. Think of the irony of that for a moment. Just, their own apps, their own database, my connector, right? But that goes to show that even a $40 billion revenue company can't innovate like we can when it comes to certain things, right? We are truly phenomenal. Google just became a customer, so Google Sheets accessing data from databases also leverages Data Direct and so on. But one of the cool things that has happened with this is that the Data Direct team said, it takes a long time to build a new connector, so let's create something that is truly remarkable. And so what has been created is something that we call the Autonomous REST connector, which automatically connects into a database and connects into any API and makes it look like a database, right? And it leverages standard REST API specifications. So here we have a Major League Baseball example, right? Major League Baseball, again, sorry for those of you who are from the international crowd, maybe you'll get some of this. But Major League Baseball, big sport in the US, right? This is this season's data coming from the MLB website, and what you have here is the JSON for that data, right? So it is a public website. Here's the JSON spec, and you just copy the URL for the JSON, and you bring up a little wizard, you plug the URL, you give it a name, you plug the URL to the JSON in it, and you click OK. And it actually dynamically creates a brand new data connector for that and makes it look like a database right there. And now you can use Tableau, and you go into Tableau and say, use that data connection, right? And it says, OK, great. And then you can say, you know what, I want to take a look at the data, whether I can now get it. Sure enough, you can see the data in real time. You basically can set up an SQL statement that is appropriate for your query or reporting or analysis that you might want to do using Tableau, and you can basically run it. And you basically say, OK, I'm going to use these fields, I'm going to create my new report, and so on and so forth. And you suddenly start seeing the teams in the various, in the two leagues, American League, National League of Baseball, and basically ranked by their win percentage. And, we're from Boston. The Boston fans are really unhappy that the Red Sox are bringing up the red colors this year. Not really doing well. Hopefully, season's yet to go fully, so we'll see how it goes. But anyway, phenomenal technology. Right? I mean, think about it, right? You can point it to any API, any data source. In fact, you can point it to multiple APIs, and it'll make it look like one data source. It's truly remarkable. So Data Direct is an amazing technology that we continue to help move forward. And another one is content management, right? Sitefinity is something that I believe a large number of people here, including partners, are using Sitefinity or working with Sitefinity. And Sitefinity 12 is being announced at Progress Next. And then it provides things like elastic scaling with the cloud offering. It provides tremendously new capabilities along with all the benefits of cloud that you can get. An interesting thing, by the way, 1,200 page views per second type of performance. I don't know whether people realize this or not. Amazon's page views per second are less than half of that. Let that sink in for a second. Anyway, so it's an amazing, extremely easy to use content management system, now available as a headless service with 99.9% uptime SLAs, right? And so here, you have tremendous capabilities now in 12.0, such as being able to, as you are editing content, the content is automatically analyzed. It figures out through text analysis and machine learning what kind of meta tags should you automatically have, and it automatically tags content if needed. It is a headless CMS, so you can actually have different channels and different front ends in front of your CMS as you need it. And at the same time, basically, if you are doing multi-language sites, it actually can take content, and you can write from the product, basically go off and say, you know what, I would like to use machine translation, and again, rather than humans, and basically get translated content back and use that as a starting point, or completely have an automated translation system. Lots of analytics available as well for the content creators and content managers. And then last but not least, because of all the other things you get with respect to the cloud, we've actually also integrated it with the CI/CD tools from Azure. This, by the way, our cloud offering is hosted in Azure. And so you can actually have changes that are being made to the website be propagated using the same CI/CD methodologies. And again, making DevOps easy for Sitefinity users as well. So a very powerful release of a new product, of a product that we are tremendously excited to have in our portfolio. And the last couple of products that I want to mention are the ones that we acquired last week from Ipswitch. So Ipswitch is a company just down the road from Progress, and they bring to us very powerful data movement and infrastructure management products. So I mentioned WUG is an infrastructure management product, What's Up Gold. Again, extremely powerful and extremely easy to use. Again, very similar in philosophy to Progress's own products. Similarly, Move It. Move It, by the way, used to move data from point A to point B on a periodic basis, or when there is an event. And again, a very, very powerful solution, extremely easy to use, reliable, secure, all the good things that one needs. Right? So if you think about it, all of the products together are truly about helping you succeed as you move forward. Right? And so what I wanted to do is wrap up with a last business scenario that says what happens when you put all these together. And to help me with that, I'd like to bring up on stage Dion Pico, our VP of Product Management. Dion.
Good morning, Yogesh.
Good morning, Dion.
How you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. And you?
Good, good, thank you.
Good. So tell me what the scenario is.
Yeah, so I'm going to play off of your MLB example. You just showed some great MLB data. So imagine you're a manufacturer of major league or baseball equipment in general. And what you want to do is really build new digital experience, so to speak. I want to disintermediate that partner channel, and I really want to sell direct to consumer over the internet, drive additional margins, really increase my share of wallet, increase my profitability. Great digital experience example.
Okay.
Now, if I'm a manufacturer of baseball equipment, chances are I'm already starting with a few pieces of key infrastructure. I likely have a great ERP system in place, probably built on OpenEdge. I already have a website, although it isn't necessarily customer engaging at this point. It's maybe more informational at this stage.
Interesting.
I also have my manufacturing plant. We'll simulate it here, but in the real world, I have my own manufacturing line, my manufacturing plant, complete with IoT sensors and everything to give me nice up to real-time event-driven insight into what's happening on that assembly line.
Sounds good.
And of course, I have my MLB data. I'll come back to that in a second.
Okay.
You were gracious enough to build that for me.
Okay. So what else? So what do we do now?
So first thing we need to do is start to connect some of these pieces together. What I love to do is use Apache Kafka for that. So Apache Kafka is a fantastic event-driven streaming architecture piece of software. Originally came from LinkedIn, but everybody's using it to drive event-driven architectures and high-performance data streams. I think it's the perfect backbone to start integrating some of these pieces around. So I'm going to put Apache Kafka in place, and what I'm going to do is integrate it directly into the OpenEdge ERP system, and I'm going to use some of our Data Direct technology for that as well, and that really just completes that bridge. And so what's happened now is I have the basis of an event-driven architecture where my IoT sensors or user notifications are really propagated through Kafka and into my inventory system, for example. So when new materials are created, they're registered in the database. And then I've also created a bridge between the OpenEdge database and my website using a Sitefinity widget. Everything in OpenEdge is API available. Everything in Sitefinity is highly extensible. So it's very easy to connect those two together as well.
So then let's see it.
And so let's see. So when I put them together, what you'll see is a website where real-time inventory updates, as they're created, as they're simulated by my IoT simulator, that information gets registered in the database, my catalog, my serial number gets registered into the catalog, and then my inventory is getting updated on the website. So really a good step one, so to speak.
Interesting. Now, if you're going to do transactions on this, right, aren't you going to need to integrate information back, not just present it?
That's exactly right. And so now we want to think about what's that customer journey going to look like. They're going to want to start, purchasing equipment on the website. They're going to want to start, returning if it doesn't meet their needs. So having that backflow is very, very important. We're also partnering with a couple of key partners in the community here, UCommerce and HawkSearch, to even further improve that e-commerce piece of Sitefinity and the product search and the product catalog capabilities. So we'll have more to say on that in the coming weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to propagate those orders back from Sitefinity through to the ERP system, and then those are going to get propagated back to Apache Kafka. What I'm going to do then is route all of that, again in real time, to Data RPM to create really a new dynamic pricing engine. And this is where I'm going to leverage that MLB data that you've created. If I'm building equipment, if I'm building branded equipment, especially, leading teams, leading batters, that's the equipment that's going to get purchased more often. And likewise, if inventory is low, I can potentially raise price. If inventory is very high, maybe I want to lower price a little bit, but I want to create a dynamic pricing engine that really allows me to maximize, my business potential and my direct-to-consumer sales. So let's take a look.
Okay.
So here you'll see again, all in Sitefinity, all of that information being propagated in real time. dynamic pricing engines taking place, calculating what the right price point should be, and as the user purchases go through, everything gets recalculated on the fly, propagated back and forth in near real time between all of those pieces of equipment.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Putting all the pieces together and actually building a truly engaging experience and leveraging information for maximizing business profit as well.
That's right. I mean, I think if you're an ISV, there's a lot of ideas in here you can take away. You know, if you're an ERP vendor, you can see a complete picture here. If you're a digital agency or you're somebody doing service implementation, these are the types of digital experiences that are going to drive that next wave. And so I think there's a lot of good takeaways that folks can get from what that end-to-end real-time experience can really drive.
Thank you, Dion.
Okay, thank you.
So to wrap up, you got a glimpse of what we basically are bringing to the table in helping you accelerate your journey in this new world. Accelerating digital innovation is an imperative for all of us, not just ourselves, but not just yourselves, but everybody around. And so our intent and our purpose has been all along to help you succeed, right? And so we're really proud of what we build. There are lots of people here from Progress who have personally been involved in these new releases. Over the next 3 days, I hope you're able to meet with them, attend their sessions, talk to them, and as well as network with each other. It isn't just learning from Progress folks, but it's also learning from each other, make some friends, go back and truly enjoy this event, but take something back that you can continue to use, not just in the near future, but in days to come. So with me, thank you very much again to attend this conference, and I hope you truly enjoy the next 3 days and we all move forward together. Thanks again.